Hello, everybody. Welcome to another series in the Power series of. Anna is just trying to connect on Facebook. So if you guys are joining us live on Facebook, then please, we'll be able to see your comments and see whether you are asking any questions as well. And if you like it, please, if you like this session, please do share it. You are going to like it, by the way, not if you like it, you are going to like it. I think it's really, really important. It's an important section of life that we have had to work through, and many of my clients have to work through as well. And we're talking about something that's really potent in our environment. So if you're online, please thumbs up, say hello, like it, love it. And if you're watching on replay, like it, share it. We want to reach more people with this. I know sometimes the timing could be awkward for people, but you know what? You can never get a perfect timing. So we're just going to do it and then share it out on our platform for people to review later on. So we're going to kick off with Anna. So Anna.
Hi, everyone.
Let's talk about the power of thought.
Yeah. So we want to start with a quote from Tosin's book, Time to Break Free. And there's chapter 1 about mindset. And actually, that was one challenge that we had when we were getting like our thoughts ready for the session, because we kept like drifting to the mindset and we're like, no, we have to like keep it for the thought. So if we eventually during the session, during the episode, just like drift off, we'll make our best to come back. And I think that will be another episode where we'll be talking about the mindset. Nevertheless, I have a quote for you. Mind is the master power that molds and makes, and man is mind, and evermore he takes the tool of thought and shaping what he wills, brings forth 1,000 joys and 1,000 ills. He thinks in secret, and it comes to pass. Every environment is but his looking glass. It's a quote by James Allen from the book As a Man Thinketh, So He Is.
Absolutely. So is he. Yeah, absolutely. Very, very powerful quote. Because think about it, we're talking about thought here. So what it's saying is, man is thought. It was written in the olden days of the Shakespearean world, but when they say man, they mean man and women, you know, so it's not just man. So man is thought, and evermore he takes the tool of thought, shaping what he wills. He brings forth 1,000 joys or 1,000 ills. He thinks in secret, but environment is but his looking glass. So it doesn't matter what you are thinking, what your thought process is in your mind. People can actually look at you and look at the environment you're living and really tell where your thinking is at. It's as simple as that. That's what the quote is saying. And I think it's a great place to start when we're talking about thoughts. Now, we want to move further because for me, it's an interesting topic because as human beings, there is an innate ability that we all have, which is built in us, which is for increase, okay? And that is, we're always looking for more. You and I are born with the same ability, but in life, we're always looking for a better home, a better house, a better car, a better house, you know, better jobs, better salaries, better income, increase, increase, increase. It's natural. And I think I've said this before. They take a plant and put it into a dark room, and you open a window and there's some sunlight. That plant grows towards the light. We are the same as human beings. We grow, we gravitate towards increase. It's just a natural ability in us. And I think Sadhguru said it, he made a funny joke. He said, if I made you the Queen of England, you want more. And if I made you the Queen of the universe, guess what? You want more. You want to be the Queen of the galaxy or whatever it may be. It's just an innate ability that we have within us. I find that interesting. So
yeah, definitely. So why is it that some, like, if we are like all born with the same start, you know, like we are born, you know, like with the same abilities.
Yes.
So why is it that some people get poor or stay poor and some people build their wealth? Like, what's the difference? What's the difference that make them to achieve or not achieve what they want?
I think that's a great question, Anna, because the thing there is, it's your mind. Have you ever heard the saying when people say, the sky is the limit?
Yep.
I don't believe that. That's a erroneous statement. It's a mistake.
So what's your limit?
We shouldn't say that. Yeah, your limit is your mind. So that's where the answer lies. Your limit is your mind. Now think about this for a minute. We're talking about thoughts. Your thoughts is your mind, and your mind works with your thought. Let me explain that. Thought is thinking. I'll say it again. Thought is thinking. So here's the question. How are you thinking? I believe it was Bob Proctor that said to me once, he said, you know what, when you look at the whole population of the world, 3% of people actually really think. He said, most of us think we're thinking, but all we're doing is we're engaged in mental activity. So Anna, what is the difference between actual thinking and mental activity?
So mental activity, as what most of us consider thinking, is we are basically like repeating the thoughts that we already had. So there's nothing new. We are just rethinking, overthinking, and most of us do that. You know, we think of the past, we are worrying about the future, and we just keep like keeping the same thoughts and going over and over them all the time. While the actual thinking, what Bob Proctor would actually consider thinking, is new thoughts. So you get new thoughts, and that's where you are like creating, I would say, like new mental activity rather than sticking to what you already had in your mind.
Absolutely, well put. I couldn't put it any better. So when we're actually thinking, a good example would be if you had a problem, you know, if somebody's poor and somebody's rich, we know categorically the difference that makes a difference is their mind, which is the way they're thinking and their thought process. So that's the difference, period. If you're poor, it's the way you've been conditioned to think. If you're rich, it's the way you've been conditioned to think. So they actually say conditioning is really, really powerful. So we shouldn't eliminate it when we're exploring the future of what we want to do. A good example would be if somebody is poor and all they're thinking of is scarcity, not enough, skimping, saving, guess what? They're only going to get more of that, because a rich person never thinks that way. A rich person thinks about creating new ideas, new thought processes, new businesses, generating stuff. You see, there's a saying that says, nothing in our environment stands still. We are either creating or disintegrating. Yeah. You are either living or dying. It sounds harsh, but it's the truth. You know, and I think it was a book that the way you were born and your conditioning, you might blame that on other people, like your parents and what have you. But as an adult that you've grown up now, you can't use that same excuse. You have to do something. It's up to you. It's about, I think Les Brown talks about renewing of your mind on a daily basis. It's like giving birth to yourself again. Now, my parents gave birth to me in Africa. I had all these shitty conditioning, but actually it's up to me now to change that story and create a new story. I love how somebody put it. He said about, you know, what we are doing is we're just replaying old records. Yeah. But instead of playing old records, this is something that you might want to write down and really act upon. Instead of playing new records, we should press record and record something new. Yeah, and I think when talking about this and when talking about when you were mentioning how some people focus on debt and lack all the time, it's also something that I think we mentioned last time, that when you are inside situations, you know, and naturally you want to get out of debt and get rid of lack, but you need to just change the way you think about it. You know, we are not telling you like you have to like straight up focus on getting a mansion, but instead of like focusing on it's about the language you use, which I think we were mentioning both in the episode about incantation as well as the episode about setting and achieving goals. Rather than I want to get out of debt, is I want to I'm wealthy. I'm wealthy. I earn X amount. Yeah. It's more positive rather than the negative. Because then you will, you know, like you will just focus on the debt. And what you focus on, the more you get off. So if you focus on abundance, I want to create abundance, which will allow me essentially to get out of debt, but I want to create abundance. You just focus abundance. Well, you will get more of abundance. Absolutely. And also be specific. People say, I want more money. You could walk on the street and see a penny. That's more money. You know, so be very clear to the universe what you want. They describe the universe as a genie. And it's like the genie comes out, the universe is screaming out at every one of us. It's saying, my child, my son, my daughter, what do you want? And then we say, I want this. And whatever comes out of your mouth will be your own limit. And we talk about how your mind limits you. This is a good example here, because it's like when I was working for other people and I was earning 21,000 per year as a payroll executive, I wanted to earn more money. But when I'm looking at ads, I'm always looking at ads that are very relevantly close to what I'm earning already.
Like job ads.
Like job ads. Does that make sense? You're always looking at, oh, this is my salary cap. And you think that's your ability, that's your limit. Now that's the way you're thinking, isn't it? So you're like, ooh, I can't go for that. Maybe I'll go for 25, or maybe I'll go for 23, or maybe I'll go for 26. Those are okay. And I'm looking at all these ads. And this is what I mean about creating a new thought and pressing record rather than playing the old thing. And then I saw an ad jump out at me. And it was like a payroll, accounts payable executive, managing 6 people, paying 35. Oh my God, that scared the shit out of me. Like, I'm earning 21, now I'm gonna be earning 35. I thought, wow, wouldn't it be nice?
But did you think you were good enough to like deserve that kind of salary though?
In the beginning, I didn't. It scares me. That's why it scared me. I was like, oh, this is way much. Am I being greedy? Am I being greedy? All these thoughts come in your mind, but it's a limiting thought, keeping us small, keeping you mediocre. You see? So I was thinking these thoughts. I was like, oh, but there was a little glimpse in my mind that said, wow, what if? What if you could earn this? What if you, and you know what I did? I started playing record on something else. I wrote an affirmation. This is my job. I am working in this company. I am earning this amount of money. And I put it on a record tape and I kept repeating it over and over again, morning, night, morning, night. I was recording a new behavior. I was recording a new thought. I didn't even know what I was doing. It was like by default. And everywhere I go, I was singing it. So I'm going on the road. I'm like, this job is mine. I have this job. I'm doing this. And I went for an interview. And funny enough, he was my fellow countryman. He was a Nigerian. I don't know him. I've never met him in my life, who was interviewing. But we had a lovely conversation. And even though he knew I was lacking in some areas of experience, he still hired me for the job. And I believe it's not him hiring me, it's because I told the universe, this is what I wanted. And he hired me for the job, and I got the job, and I had gained one of the most best experiences of my life. I spent a year in that company. And that was a mind shift. Now, what does that do for you? All of a sudden, you're earning 21, but now you're earning 35. Now you're thinking, I am playing small. And no one, they say, this is a real, I hate this saying, but it's actually true. Best of a feather flocks together. You see people earning the same amount of money in the same area, living in the same place, same community, doing the same things, having the same friends, having the same activities, which is why people always say this. Your network is your net worth. You know, the 5 people that you hang around with the most, if you look at their combined net average salary, that is your salary.
But it doesn't apply just for the salary, right? It's just like the people you are around. It's like, if you don't want to catch the fleas, don't sleep with the dogs, right?
Absolutely.
So if you want to create abundance, don't be with people who are just moaning
poor mentality or complaining
how
or
they have
about,
lack, how they are in debt, how they can't afford, how they are envious of other people because they can afford it, you know. And I think one thing that's very important about thoughts is something that is like thoughts, words is very similar. It's like they don't describe, like your thoughts are not like a description of your reality. They are determining your reality, just like the words, because words and thoughts essentially is the same thing.
They didn't hear that. You said that too quickly. She said words, they're not describing what you're feeling, but thoughts is actually creating the fabric of your reality. Now, let me explain based on that point. I'm sorry to cut you there, but this is really important that I'll forget my chain of thought. You just drop a bomb there. So let's unpack that a little bit. What are thoughts really? Okay. Thoughts are feelings and ideas or inspiration that come to you based on what level of vibration that you're vibrating at. Now, I don't want to go esoteric here or spiritual because we do have a beautiful rendition of this whole power of how to harness your thought from my spiritual mentor, Amin Daya. And I think after this, we will link his website and we'll link the actual talk to this. We'll post it here because that goes even deeper And that will give you guys an understanding of what we are saying on a basic level here. We're just touching the surface, but that goes deeper to you understanding why it's so important that you focus on what you think and how you think and what you're thinking. We truly do become what we think about. People say that all the time. Be careful what you think about because you might manifest it. Trust me, we're doing it all the time. And here's the scary part. When I heard about, based on what you just said, it said, the minute you have a thought, your mind is eavesdropping on your thoughts anyway, but the minute you have a thought about something, you've not even acted upon it, you've not even gone about doing anything. The minute you have a thought, that thought is potent, is alive. You've just set something in motion in the universe. Ooh, I'll let that rest for a minute. Just think about that, what I've just said. The minute you and I have a thought, we've set something in motion. We haven't even acted upon it. Now, when you start to act on it, now you are creating something else. Now, if it's positive, fantastic. If it's negative, now you are creating what they call a negative shadow around you. If it's positive, you're creating a positive shadow around you. You see? And people wonder how the law of attraction works. People think, oh, law of attraction, that's the basic understanding. It's the law of vibration first. And I think this is a good point to share with you. But before I share the law of vibration, I want you to read that quote from Wallace D. Wattles. I read a book. It's about The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles. Phenomenal book. You have to read this book because it really summarizes thought in a beautiful, beautiful way. And I'll read that quote to them from the book.
Quote is again in Tosin's book as well. There is a thinking stuff from which all things are made, and which in its original state permeates and penetrates and fills the interspace of the universe. A thought in the substance produces the thing that is imagined by the thought. A person can form things in his thought, and by impressing his thoughts upon formless substance can cause the things he thinks about to be created.
Read it again, please.
I think I will read the last bit because that's
it's really, no. Read the whole quote again. It's really powerful because sometimes when we say something, people don't hear it. So let's just read it again.
Well, that's why they need to get the book.
Just read that quote again because we want to unpack it here.
All right. There's a thinking stuff from which all things are made, and which in its original state permeates and penetrates and fills the interspace of the universe. A thought in this substance produces the thing that is imagined by the thought. A person can form things in his thought, and by impressing his thoughts upon formless substance can cause the thing he thinks about to be created.
Voila. Wow. Now, if you're watching live, if you have any questions, please do engage us, do ask questions. We want to make it interactive if we can. It's not always possible because we have so much to share with you. We just want to get it done. So if you're online, please just say hello, like it, love it. If you're enjoying this, if you're getting some gems from it as well, you can retype those quotes, but please share with other people.
We welcome all feedback. So if there is some area of improvement, there's always, we're more than happy. This is just me and my wife wanting to contribute and share some of our ideas, some that we've learned over the years. So it's a Friday morning where we can have fun, have really honest, interactive conversations. Everything we're sharing with you, is something that we are learning. We are constantly learning and growing together. And I think that if you're in a relationship with somebody, one of the biggest things you can do is have honest, candid conversations with each other and be open with your insecurities, with your fears, with whatever you have, because that's only where you can grow together. You see, holding things in, holding thoughts in, as we now know, just start to create something else. Holding resentment, holding anger, or he didn't do this, he should have done that, having those expectations and holding them in, they just create more problems in your relationship. But sharing them, once it's shared, once a problem is shared, you find a solution together. Would you agree? Yeah, and I think it was very important and something that we already mentioned several times here. A thought does not have to be spoken for it to come true or materialize. And I think, especially in a relationship, it's even worse when it's not spoken, because thought can become like your own belief. And then
jealousy comes from that, anxiety, fear, frustration.
You will just have like one thought, oh, my wife or my husband is cheating on me, but you don't share it, you're like, for whatever reason, you're like, okay, you don't share it. And then you will start like manifesting it and seeing things, that might not, that are not there, that are not connected, that don't mean anything, but because you keep that one thought in your mind and you didn't get rid of it.
Remember, we said where focus goes, energy flows. What you focus on dominantly becomes your dominant thought. And if that's a dominant thought, what you're doing is who you are, who you think you are is who you become. What you're constantly thinking about is what you're creating. I hope this is helping somebody, because we've gone through these challenges, by the way. So we're only sharing our own experiences because we're letting you know how powerful your thought is. And, thought is everywhere. It permeates and penetrates the entire interspace of life. So whenever we put an impression on that thing that we image is created. This is what DeWalden is saying. So if somebody out there is rich, it also means you can be rich. Okay? If somebody out there is poor, I mean, you can be poor. If somebody out there is fat, you can be fat. You can be thin. You can be fit. We can be anything we want as long as we can imagine it, image it, and create it. We are transforming beings. I love the way Barack Obama's wife put it, Michelle Obama. She talks about in her book about becoming. That's all we are. We're always becoming. We're always evolving, becoming, because you were all once a child, but now you're an adult. So let's unpack that quote that you just dropped on us a bit better, DeWalden. When he talks about there's something out there in space that permeates and penetrates the whole entire universe. He's talking about thought frequency and vibration. And that's why I want to talk about it. People talk about law of attraction. But before that, you've got to be vibrating to pick up that frequency. Here's the analogy for you. If you had a transition radio in the room right now, I can pick up any station, Choice FM. Where is it? It's in the east, it's here. It's right in this room. If I have the radio here, I can tune into FM or Choice FM or whatever, different station. You and I are always tuning in to different thought frequencies.
Yeah.
That's what we call vibration. And I wrote in my other book here, shameless plug, it's there. Empower Yourself with the 7 Natural Law. Beautiful, colorful book.
Available on Amazon.
Available on Amazon. Let's talk about the law of vibration quickly. Yeah, it says here, the law of vibration. Everything vibrates, nothing rests. And conscious awareness of vibration is called feelings. You think it's just your feeling, it's how you're vibrating. Your thoughts control your paradigm, which is habits, and your vibrations. Listen to that. Your thoughts control your habits and your vibrations. When you are not feeling good, become aware of what you are thinking. Wow, revelation. Then think of something pleasant. Go to a tranquil place, a peaceful place in your mind. Now, it's not always easy to do. Now, how do you do that? Well, because once you're caught up in a negative spiral, it could spiral on for days, weeks, and months, and years if you allow it. Or if you're open to it and you can catch it quickly, it's about catching it, understanding it, having a conversation if it involves somebody else very, very quickly, letting it all out so that we can all clear the air, and then you can start to rethink different thoughts that are going to move you in a more positive vibration. Because whatever vibration you're vibrating at, we call that, it could be a lower vibration or a higher vibration or frequency, if you like it for a better word. That is the thought that you're going to resonate at. We have negative thoughts, we have positive thoughts, and they're out there, they just come. When you resonate at a lower energy, you pick up the negative chatter. If you resonate at a higher frequency and you're happy with yourself, you're confident, you're focused on your goal, you're moving forward, you're creating stuff, you're resonate at a higher level. There's love, there's peace, there's harmony in that energy. You're now picking up the chatter of more higher level thoughts.
Yeah, I know you're always like, anytime I have a headache, he asks me, he's like, what are you thinking about?
Simple. I've got a headache. No, it's not. Now, sometimes, don't get me wrong.
Sometimes just headache.
We could be hungry. It could just be a headache. We are hungry. We haven't eaten all day. We just need some water, or we are dehydrated, blah, blah, blah. We have a bit of dizziness. We need to drink some water. But I'm telling you, and you'll agree with me, 9 out of 10 times, if you're in a negative state or a negative mood, it's because you got a headache. You're thinking of something.
Yeah, and I think that's why it's so important to choose the people that are around you, because they can so easily influence you. And the stuff that you watch, like what you watch on social media, what are you thinking, what meaning you are giving to it, what thoughts you are creating as a result of that is very important. So always, sometimes it's like, it's even with families, right? Like you feel like, okay, it's my family, I have to spend time with them, they're my blood. But like we said already, if you don't want to catch the fleas, don't sleep with the dogs. Just
No,
spend.
but here's the thing.
No, just
we don't go to their families. That would be like, ouch. It's like,
No.
go to your family,
No,
please.
I was about
Visit
to
your
say
family.
that.
Okay, yeah. Please.
Okay, but don't spend too long.
Now, family can be tough. We love them and we can't choose our family, but we can choose our friends,
We
But
can
also,
choose our spiritual family.
what I also say is family is not the only place you're loved, Family is where you're actually truly loved. Sometimes family could be negative, we call them negative energies. It's great. You can appreciate them. We don't want to change anybody. We go and see them, but don't spend too long. Don't stay too long if you don't want to catch fleas, is what she's saying. But we have to make time for family. But at the end of the day, if you have a negative friend around you, you can get rid of them. You can cut them off because you don't need them. They're not going to help you improve you in any way. If they're only going to be moaning, complaining, bitching about everything else, gossiping about other people, I'd rather gossip about us and gossip about our children, gossip about our business, but gossiping about other people, here's the other thing that I want you to understand from thought energy. It's like a boomerang. So if I saw other kids and I said to my wife, those kids are rowdy, those kids are disturbing me. Actually, what am I doing? The universe takes that to be my kids. I'll say that again.
That's deep.
That's deep, right? When I focus on somebody else and I'm saying that, and here's another one. You look at somebody and you're moaning and you're criticizing how they look. Oh, they got a fat belly, they got a fat belly. If you do that so often, guess what? You start to develop a fat belly. It's like a boomerang. You're throwing thought dart energy out. It's come back to the same place with the same intensity that you're throwing it out. Like Anna said before, I don't have to slap you to slap you. I just have to think of slapping you. I've already slapped you. Ooh. So we've got to be careful. We've got to be careful, people, about what we think about other people. The law of cause and effect, puts it beautifully. And I think I should read that because it's a big law. The law of cause and effect. Yeah, we're digressing a little, but I think it's important. This is good for this. You see, the law of cause and effect says, whatever you send into the universe comes back. Action and reaction are equal and opposite. So say good things to everyone. Treat everyone with total respect, and it will all come back to you. Never worry about what you are going to get. Just concentrate on what you are going to give, and give it with all of your might and your ability. Wow. That's exactly what we're saying about. We're talking about the boomerang. So in nature is, think about what you want. How would you want to be spoken to? Give compliments to people. Compliment 3 people for no reason. You don't want anything from them. Oh, you're dressed beautifully. You look amazing. I love your nails. It's beautifully done. Lovely colors. And genuinely mean it. I'm not saying pay lip service. Some people will say that, but they don't genuinely mean it. If you don't mean it, don't say it. Give genuine compliment. Find 3 people out there. Give compliments to people every single day. Find 3 people to give it. I'm telling you, your life will change because now you're focusing more on that higher frequency energy, not negative energy, not seeing people and complain about what they're wearing, how they smell. This is what I find grating. Somebody smells awkward or somebody got their shirt upside down. People would rather complain and talk about it amongst themselves, but not talk to the person. I'd rather go to the person, excuse me, by the way, do you know that your clothes are upside down? Oh, I didn't realize. Oh, thank you. And they change it. I'd rather say, hey, by the way, and I've done this so many times, people actually come to me and say, Tosin, you know how to say better, but can you go and talk to that guy because his body odor, he's not looked after himself. And by all means, rather than chatting about it, complaining about, I'll go and help them. I say, by the way, I love you to bits, but dude, you got to get some deodorant, man. There's some odor coming out there. You go, really? I didn't know. Oh my God, I had a shower this month. I know some people are nervous and then they sweat and then that becomes like, do you need a spray? I've got a spray. Something like that. But it's about telling the people that you are helping rather than bitching about them. So that's really, really important. Now, where are we going with this? So going back, I wanted to give you guys an example of what you said. If you observe your children, how do children learn? How do they learn?
Well, they imitate, right? We said like monkey sees, monkey do.
Observation and imitation. That's it. A child sees you walking, has an image of walking, and imprints that image in their own mind. And they know without a shadow of a doubt, they're going to walk. Mm-hmm. And they do. They start rolling around, sitting up, crawling, holding on to things.
But it's the thought.
But it's the thought that was the seed. The thought comes first. What about us adults? How do you manage? Let's look at a basic example. You just said today, you looked at it, oh, it's a beautiful day for walking. What came? The thought came first, right?
Yeah, well, the thought comes first, and then you manifest.
And then you create the image, and then you act on it, either positive or negative. So when we're thinking about a meal that we want to cook at home, what do we want to cook? We say, I fancy noche. So it's a thought, an idea. Then what happens? You got to go out and get the ingredients, right?
Yeah. So it's the thought that comes first, and you have to be very careful about. But I think, it's not, because I think some people think like this, like they can just create the thought and I think it's very important, like the ratio of the thoughts that you have, because like if you are like consciously, it starts by like creating positive thoughts. But if at the inside of you, you have some doubts, or negative thoughts, then it's kind of like fighting.
Well, I shared my example of the job, 21, 31. Well, what Anna's saying is there's a process to how things are created when you have that thought, which is why they say the image. That's why visualization is a powerful thing. If you want to do something, and you heard in that little example of mine is loaded there, we can unpack it if you want, but it's really the thought came first. First, it was all the negative stuff. Then that little glimpse of thought that said, what if you were earning that? All of a sudden now, that's an idea, that's a thought. But now you got to act on it. You got to make it an image. What did I do? I created a process. I saw myself earning that. I saw myself spending that money, doing something with it. I read over and over and over and over again in my mind. I played the record. I started recording a new behavior. But what happens is, what did I say? Repetition is the mother of all skills. That's what I'm looking for. You repeat it, you repeat it, repeat it. Same way where we are repeating negative thoughts about when somebody is jealous. It's the same thing. They see somebody, they go, what's going on here? And then they repeat it, and they start creating images that are not there over and over and over, and they develop something which eventually then pushes their partner out, and that very thing that they're afraid of happens. So it's the same principle. Something new, over and over and over again in your mind, all of a sudden you create something new and you're moving in a different direction. I find the question to maybe ask is, what gets you away from the negativity to get you back into something positive? Because some people might be caught up in that spiral and it's hard for them to get out of that thought process. How do they shift from that to going into?
I think the number one thing is always awareness. Like you have to be aware of your thoughts. Because if you're just living and just doing the mental activity, which is just rethinking and being around people whose mind works the same way, and you are in that kind of a peer group, and I think most of us grew up in that.
Yeah, we did.
You don't think there's anything else. You just don't think there can be anything better. You are just stuck in there. But then there's a lot of techniques in personal development. A lot of courses, a lot of people that can help you, mentors, coaches, husbands. At least I got the mentoring for free. So that can show you that there is something better. So you have to be willing to open your mind and be willing to just shift little things. But there have to be some kind of
willingness,
and also something like a point, something that happens that starts it, because even us, we are aware of it. I would say most of the time we are aware of our state, our thinking, but we still tend to go sideways.
Absolutely. This is not, what we're sharing is really powerful. We're just saying for people to become aware. So you use the word awareness, because remember, we can't change anything if we're not aware of it.
Yeah.
So if something's a problem and it's a challenge, then it's up to the partners, if they're willing and they're open to have that honest, deep conversation, not surface level conversation, then they can work at things and develop things. We've had many challenges, but we've sat down, honestly open, and worked through them, and we're constantly working through them. Because remember, relationship is about relating to each other. Okay, we'll probably do a whole different topic about the power of relationship. Right now we're talking about the power of thought, but it's relevant here as we're saying it. What Anna says, first thing to get yourself out of that negative thought process into a more positive program would be number one, awareness. Once you're aware of it, it's great. Number two, I would say, have a willingness to work through it and be honest and candid. Because sometimes we think when we share our deepest thoughts with people, our weaknesses, we feel weak, but actually no, it's a source of strength.
Yeah,
Okay?
but also choose the people you share it with.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you have to choose the people, because if you share with the wrong person, they'll just give you the wrong advice. Because remember, we're only giving stuff based on our own perception. Everything's our perception. There's always going to be a different view everywhere else. Okay, so let's get that right. Thirdly, meditation. Meditation, a way of meditating. Okay, and for me, the biggest thing that helps me very quickly shift from my negative state into the almost instantaneously. And I say maybe it might last a day or two, but within a day, I could just get rid of it. Even minutes. It's gratitude. Gratitude. So gratitude is a great place to start from. Look around you, look at what you've got, because a lot of the time we look at what we haven't got, don't we? I want that, I want it, that didn't come, that deal, you know. I think Eckhart Tolle put it beautifully. Eckhart Tolle said, the biggest challenge, the biggest problem you have and we have is you are here, but you're wishing you were there.
Yeah, because we keep comparing.
I say that. You are here, but you wish you were there. And Anna said it beautifully, because we keep comparing. We compare ourselves to other people. Now, if you keep comparing your situation to somebody else that's better than you, you're going to feel worse all the time. How about you do this? Do the reverse. Why don't you compare yourself to somebody worse than you? Now gratitude kicks in. Appreciation kicks in. Now you're grateful where you are, knowing that, yes, you are here, people are above you and people are below you. Everyone's at different levels.
There's no great technique to snapping yourself out of negative thought.
What's that?
I think I'll post the video there later.
Having what?
I'll post the video there later. You know, like when we catch the other one in a state where we are like going like nuts, you know, literally. All you have to say is just stop it, because that's all you have to do. Like literally, you know, like sometimes we do the overthinking.
Yes.
Like we go, oh, what if, you know, we're like worrying, we are creating negative thoughts for the future that has not even happened yet.
Yeah.
What if this is gonna happen? That is gonna happen. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And we just worry like crazy.
Yeah.
And what we do, we just say,
stop
it.
Yes.
Because that's all you have to do. There's
there's
no other step you need to do other than
stop it. Yeah, but then stop it, but then replace it with what you want instead.
Yeah.
So stop it. So I got something called stop. What was it? With thought. It's a beautiful, which is like stop, challenge, choose. That's what she's actually referring to, by the way. So stop, challenge, choose. So yeah. So you say stop, and then you say, okay, great. Why am I thinking that way?
Yeah.
What if that's not true? Why have I created this thought? What is it? Is it my own insecurity? Is it my own fears? Is it my thing around it? Why do I feel like that? Why do I feel weak then? So maybe then your partner will reassure you, reaffirm you, everything's okay, blah, 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 blah. And you have that conversation, and then you might look at, okay, what do I want to think of instead? What do I want to create instead of that negative thought that I have? This is what I want instead. And now press record on something new. Press record on something new, and then talk about that together, share that together, or by yourself, like I did, over and over and over and over again. Let that fill you up with joy and peace of mind that now I'm not creating something new, and voila, something new will come. Same with health. We're talking about money, but even with health, you're sick. If you're sick, you want wellness and well-being. So focus on wellness and well-being. So the question also is, why are people rich and why are people poor? But then the other question is, why are some people healthy and not healthy? Why do some people break a leg, take 3-5 years to heal? Another break a leg takes a year to heal or 6 months to heal. Why? Why is it different? Somebody's got a cold, lasts about 3 months. Somebody's got a cold, lasts 1 day or 2 days. Why? What are those differences?
The thought
process, the way they think and what they believe about that thing, their conditioning.
Okay, we are reaching like 1 hour. I think.
Are we reaching an hour?
Too much.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I didn't realize the time. I read that. But this is useful. I hope you're finding this useful, guys.
If not,
some likes. Just say it. You know, then just say it. So yeah, I mean, that is thought, and we will add a video from my spiritual mentor going more to the spiritual level of thought, so you can understand the real power of it. Because once we send a thought out and we act on it, it creates what he calls a ripple effect. And that ripple effect is 7-fold, 7 different stages of the thought on a deeper level. And then that thought, whatever thought you throw out of the universe, find its way back to you. Like I said, it's a boomerang. So if I'm thinking health and abundance for myself, for my family, for everybody around the world, guess what? It's going to come round back to me. But if I'm thinking negative stuff about people, hatred, anger, blah, blah, it's going to all come back to me. The thought you put out all ends up back at you. So as Sadhguru would say, if you don't want to have all the impressions of garbage and trash in your heart, be careful what you're thinking. Be careful what you're thinking. There's a couple of quotes that you had. I don't know where that was. Let me just find it. We can share that with you, and then we can wrap up. You know, round up with some positivity. Yeah, you sent me a couple of quotes, so you can read these quotes out.
Well, the first one is about. I know that one. The first one is about boiling water, because when the water starts boiling, you can't see your own reflection in there. So similarly, you cannot see the truth when you are in a state of anger. And yeah, that's very important. So I'll add something to that. So what she's saying is be aware of the state that you're in, because we're emotional creatures. We get involved in something based on how we feel. We get up based on how we feel. If you're in a shitty, depressed, angry state, you can't make good quality decisions from that state. But if you're in an uptime state, excited, happy, peaceful state, you make better decisions from that state, basically. Yeah, and the second one is actually very similar to it. So stop trying to calm the storm. Calm yourself and the storm will pass. Beautiful. I was in a blister of storm yesterday, driving through it, like coming my way. Now, I can't stop the storm. I can't calm the storm. All I can do is calm myself down, drive safely, slowly, and calmly. And that's what they're saying as well. So there you have it, folks. I hope you guys have enjoyed this series of the power of thought. We've thoroughly enjoyed delivering it, right? What would be one takeaway from today for you? Like if people like started watching now, just one thing that they should remember. One thing that you should remember is that your thoughts is potent and it's alive. It's actually a living thing, just like you and I. So be very, very, very careful what you think and how you think. And remember, when you have a thought, you stop, challenge, and choose. Now, as we always finish with our quote, your mind is like a parachute. It only functions when it's open. So, open your mind today, people. All right, open your mind today. Love you guys. We'll see you again next week for another episode of the Power Up series. Let us know what you want us to talk about. Share that with us. It will be great. Otherwise, we'll come up with another topic for you for next week, usually around Wednesday, which is the matter. If we don't hear from you guys, we'll come up with a topic by Wednesday and we'll post it out. And we look forward to sharing with you back on Friday at 9 a.m. UK time now. Yeah, from next week it'll be 9 a.m. We just didn't, we both of us, we changed the time and we didn't agree on it. Correct. So we've agreed on 9 a.m. UK time. So 10 a.m. Central European time. All right, guys.
Thank you guys. Take care and God bless. Bye-bye.